Hi, I'm Brittany McVicker. I am an actor and I am so excited to be on the Gym Masters show. I'm coming to you live from New York on a Tuesday night and you're watching Gym Masters.
Very cool, Brittany. I love that intro. You could be my MC and intro the show every night. How's that, huh?
Anytime.
She's coming to us live from the Big Apple, New York City. She's there because she's very busy. Boy, you got film projects and all kinds of cool things coming up. That's very exciting, Brittany. And it's so cool to have you here. And what really is very cool, and I appreciate, you said you're a big fan of the Gym Master Show and you watch all the other episodes and all the celebrity friends and special guests who've been here. That's fantastic. Thanks for being a viewer and supporter and lover of what we're doing at the Gym Master Show. We love that.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I love watching all of your episodes and I'm a big fan of like the 70s TV shows and like that era. And you've interviewed so many people, especially from that era. So love it. Thank you for having me.
Oh, the pleasure is all mine, Brittany. So you're in New York in the Big Apple there, and I'm originally from New York, actually further out east on Long Island, but we are here in the New York tri-state area. Welcome to the tri-state area, New York, New Jersey, Connecticut area. And so what brings you to New York? You have, again, a lot of cool things you're working on, right?
Oh my gosh, I have so many. I have like 8 films right now in post-production, which as you know, film takes so long to come out. And yeah, working on a couple of projects here. So, it's like popping. New York is like the place to be right now.
It really is. There's a lot going on. The East Coast is really hopping, and some of those tax credits are coming back, which is great for film and television work and more. Tell everybody where you're originally from and how growing up where you did sort of inspired you along the way.
Oh yeah, definitely. So I'm from the Midwest. I'm like meeting a lot of people here, and everyone's from like small towns, and it's just always so performative as a kid. And I'm like, I wanna do that one day. But and then I went to LA, and I went there for business, and just kind of wanted to see the life, and moved to a big city. And then I met a lot of people who were actors and like entertainment. And I was like, oh my gosh, like you do this for a job, like for a living? And they were like, yeah, you have to get classes, and if it's something you want to do, like go for it. And I didn't realize like how attainable this is. So that's kind of was my weird little path into it.
So were you a kid in school that always wanted to get involved in like school plays, and you just were always watching, like you said, the TV shows? You love the shows from the 1970s, all those classic shows. Were you always watching and sort of emulating what you were seeing in TV and movies and said, I'd really like to do that?
Oh yeah, I think I was like 4 watching the Phantom of the Opera movie, and my mom's like, I
Oh,
don't think you
yeah.
should watch this. You're too young.
Too young, right?
And I was like, no, I can watch this. She's like, what?
So that's fantastic. Did you ever get a chance to see Phantom of the Opera on Broadway?
I did.
Me too. It was great, huh?
So good. We're actually seeing another Andrew Lloyd Webber production tomorrow called Sunset Boulevard, which is one of my favorite black
Oh, yeah.
movies. So very excited.
I had a great honor through PBS to host the 25th anniversary Great Performances National PBS special celebrating the 25th year of Phantom of the Opera. And we filmed in the Majestic Theater in front of the stage, and they lowered the gold chandelier that comes down, and they lowered it behind us. And it was a really cool national special for Great Performances celebrating the 25th anniversary of.
You worked on that?
I worked on that special, co-hosted it. Yeah, it was
Oh my
very
God.
special. It was really, really cool to be in the Majestic Theater doing that special with PBS and celebrating the iconic Phantom of the Opera. And then it was a special that aired nationally and multiple times. It was really nice. And of course, the Phantom is not performing anymore. They had their run, but it was unbelievable. And if anybody got a chance to see it, whether they saw it on, Broadway in New York, or they saw it performed, across the country by others, or even, in London, it was really something cool, huh? All
Oh
that,
my
all
gosh.
that music and everything.
They're doing something new now. There's like a bunch of, it's like all red and it has like a mask. This is Masquerade. It's all around the city right now, these advertisements, and it says something like, you thought I was gone or something. So I don't know what they're up to, but they're reviving some.
They're teasing something for everybody to get excited about, right?
Yeah,
Well,
I'm excited.
yes. Well, you have been extraordinarily busy. You have been a part of so many things. Matter of fact, you just recently wrapped Dogwood and you starred opposite Academy Award nominee Eric Roberts. Now, you may have seen Eric Roberts was a guest on our show recently. He was
Yes.
just on. We had a terrific conversation with Eric. And that's followed by Kill Trip with Stelio Savante, and he was just a guest on the show just a couple of weeks ago.
Wait, no way.
He was just on the show. Yeah,
Wait,
we
I
had.
love that.
Yeah, he loved it. He had a great time with us. We had a great time with him. It was his first time on our show, and Eric Roberts too, the first time. And now you're starring in this ambitious fantasy feature alongside Todd Terry from Breaking Bad and Vindication.
Which he was just nominated for an Emmy.
Yeah, right, exactly. So tell us about working with Eric Roberts and Stelio and Todd and all of these great people.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. I honestly never thought this would happen. I just wanted to like perform or, just be a ham or something. And I never thought like I would be here. I mean, they're so great. Eric, Stelio. I mean, they're like the best of the best, and watching them work, you're like, oh my gosh, this is so good. It's like the best hands-on learning experience.
They really are, because they've been doing it so long and they're nice people. You know what I mean? They're fun, they're approachable, and you can really learn a lot from them. And I'm sure, from everybody that you've had an opportunity to work with, you've learned so much from so many people because your background is quite extensive. I mean, as an actress and a model, you're known for your dynamic presenter on screen, Midwest rooted authenticity, but you've also appeared on AMC Plus, Hulu, Peacock, the CW, and in Lifetime movies too. You may recognize her from Lifetime movies, several Lifetime movies, filming, of course, Kill Trip, also Dogwood, as I mentioned, which I think is fantastic, Western Dogwood. And you've been in lots of publications too. You've been in People Magazine and Popside UK. You've been featured in Glamour Magazine and lots more. You've also been featured in music videos for artists like MGK and the Goo Goo Dolls. You've been in their videos, Jack Harlow, Falling Reverse, and Khalid. You've also got this, you're a passionate supporter of something really, really special. With all that glitz and glamour and all these wonderful things you do with television and film and music videos and modeling and everything else, you're a philanthropist. You like to give back, and you're very passionate and a passionate supporter for the Vasculitis Foundation, a cause close to your heart following the loss of your mom to the disease when she was just, when you were just 13. That is such a beautiful thing to do, to pay it forward, to honor your mom, but also to support it in a way that helps others. It's a very beautiful thing you're doing, Brittany. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I actually was researching about it because originally I didn't know if it was something I could get, or it can be a very scary thing because there wasn't much known about it when she passed. So I was researching it, and I found this wonderful foundation called the Vasculitis Foundation, and I was just talking to them back and forth a bit, and I was like hearing their stories, how if you think you have some of the kind of criteria of what vasculitis is, they will literally send out a doctor. And go over all of your results, all the tests, and figure out what you have going on. And that gave me so much peace of mind going into my future and my life. And I'm just like, if we can catch it before it gets too bad or too far along, you could save years and years on your life. And so I've been really passionate about getting the word out there. And yeah, it's been wonderful working with them.
Again, it's such a beautiful thing to be doing, to give back in that way and having that personal connection. I know your mom would be very, very proud that you're doing such a thing like that. You've got a very busy schedule and you want to give back as much as you can. And that's just a reflection of who you are as a person, Brittany, a giver, a doer, which I think is fantastic. I also want to mention, and I hope they're all watching and maybe subscribing to our channel. You have over 20,000 social media followers and a solid fan base, and continue to build momentum as a rising voice in both film and advocacy, right? Tell us about that. And congratulations on those climbing numbers, my friend. If they're watching, welcome to the Gym Masters Show, everybody.
Yeah, I mean, it's just been so amazing to meet so many people and make so many friends through this industry. I was a homeschooled theater kid growing up, so theater was my way of making friends, and into adulthood, it's still my way of making friends and meeting people. And everyone's so diverse and awesome. And I don't know what I would do without this. So thank you to everyone watching.
Absolutely. Everybody watching all around the world. We love this. What was the first big break for you? What was the first big thing that came your way, whether it's film or television or modeling, that sort of really got the door open for you, Brittany?
It was casting director and writer Scotty Mullen who got me my first Lifetime movie. He also wrote like a lot of the fun Sharknado movies. He's amazing, and I like accredit every foot in the door. So thank you, Scotty. I know he watches these, so.
Hey, Scotty, that's fantastic. So you were involved in the Sharknado franchise too?
No, but he wrote them, but he got my foot in the door to like
Oh,
everything
wow.
film. So
Everything.
you only
Wow.
need that foot in the door for just the one thing.
That's all it takes.
Yeah.
Right. So basically you got your break.
Oh, yes. We'll direct it back. That was so fun to be a part of. My friend Caleb was filming it and he called me and he's like, hey, you want to be in this movie? And I was like, obviously.
Right. To be involved. You've been involved in a lot of movies. Again, people will know you from Lifetime movies and lots of cool things. Dante's Hotel too, right?
Yeah, I think my scene was cut in that, but it might still be on my IMDb. But you know what? That's showbiz.
That's all part of it, right?
Yeah, that's showbiz.
Secret Life of Sorority Girl, another
Oh
one.
gosh, how fun. That one was great.
What was that about? Tell us, for anybody who didn't see it. Was that on Lifetime?
Yeah, it's a riskier Lifetime film though.
Yeah.
Jim, it's a fun one, but I think moms might clutch their pearls a bit.
Right. That's a good way to describe it. That's a Midwest way to describe it, right?
Yes, it is.
But the Lifetime movies, yeah, they certainly have their fan base for sure,
They do, yeah.
And the modeling, when did the modeling come your way? I mean, you definitely have a look, your eyes. I mean, they say the when it's a good photographer when they can really capture something in the soul of somebody's eyes, their soul through their eyes, and definitely that's there. When did the modeling part come into your life?
It actually started first. It was like my way of paying the bills.
Yes, which it is for a lot of actors and performers,
and
right?
You make a lot of money. A lot of people that listen to my interviews and stuff, they're like fellow actors are trying to get their foot in the door.
Right.
And I always try to leave like some advice or something that they can come back to and listen. And for those listening, do not be afraid to do commercials and print. That will pay your bills. That will get you along. that will make your agents happy. If you can start doing that too. So that's literally my biggest advice is go for it.
You
Try
know,
it.
another area too that's really good is voiceover work too.
Oh, yeah.
When you do voiceovers, you lend your voice to narrations and announcements and commercials and video games and animation too. Do you do any voices? Have you ever gone into that route, or is that something you want to pursue? Because voice work is not only lucrative, but it's fun, and you get to collaborate, work with a lot of other talented people in the industry. It's great stuff.
Oh, it takes a lot of training though. A lot of training and talent. So
It
people think,
does.
oh, I could just do this voice. No, no, no. These people are so
Hard work.
professional. It's not on my agenda at the moment because I know I'm going to need a lot of training, but it's something I would love to do eventually.
Do you ever do any voices? Do you ever like play around with voices sometimes, even when you're alone, just create a voice or do sometimes I do too. I
Do
read
you?
billboards. I'll read billboards on the highway or, coming up next, it's exit 42. We're going to the diner.
I mean, that was so good. Have you done like voiceover work in the past?
Yeah, I've done a lot with television stations and radio stations and productions, corporate radio announcing over the years, network stuff. And, I always loved as a kid listening to the announcers on the television networks that would say, "This is CBS," those kinds of things.
You did
The
such a
state,
good job. That was so good.
the network station announcers tonight on NBC. It's Brittany McVicker.
That was so good.
Or tonight on Lifetime, Brittany McVicker in
Wow.
Secrets of. We'll
Yeah,
find out.
secret to something.
That's it, right?
That was
Uh,
so good though. Yeah, I can see why they hire you.
I enjoy doing it too. I've done it as a kid too. I used to walk around the house with the cassette recorder and interview all the family and do a little reporter stuff, and then make all these, cassette tapes of like shows and just did, it's stuff when you start as a kid and then you follow through and go to college and school and,
Mhm.
get your first jobs in the industries because these are demanding industries. But when you start to do it, the key to it, as you know, you have to love it. If you don't love all of this, because it demands so much, right? These are demanding industries. If you don't love what you do, no matter what it is that you do, uh, it'll either eat you up alive, or you get bored with it, or you just won't enjoy the ride. And it seems like you are enjoying the ride, right?
Yeah, I think that's the key though. Like what you just said is you literally just have to enjoy it. And a lot of people they experience like burnout or they kind of just give up. But it's like, I do think at the end of the day, sometimes this industry entertainment's kind of the calling, wouldn't you say? It's kind of like a path just kind of has to be meant for you.
It's funny because I'll ask people, like sometimes they're singers or what have you, even an actor, and I'll say, what is it about it, and when did you know you wanted to do it? And a lot of them say, well, it wasn't me. I didn't find it. It found me, which I think is really, really something special when you hear people say that, right? You know what I mean? It's like it found them and then they fell in love with it, which I think is so cool.
No, it's so true.
You know, so you're in New York, you're working on a lot of projects. And do you get to the East Coast often?
I think so lately. A lot of projects are all over the place. Like I've been Mississippi, Atlanta, Texas. I can't even remember everywhere else. I mean, it's just filming a lot of like niche, smaller cities are getting amazing tax cuts. So they're kind of just filming all over the place besides like just LA. So that's been fun.
What do you like to do? I mean, is it drama, thrillers? Is it, do you like comedic roles as well? What speaks to your heart first, Britton?
I first started auditioning for like Hallmark and it just wasn't taking. I never saw myself as like a rom-com character. And then, my stepmom was like, "Oh, but you should do a Lifetime movie." I was like, no, I don't know if that's me. I ended up booking my first Lifetime movie like 2 months after she said that. And I was like, yeah, I think thriller space is for me. And ever since then, it's been thriller, drama. I'm crying, snotting. Like, it's been like really intense. I've always got bruises all over me from stunts. So I think, everything just kind of finds you.
That's exactly right. It is, and it's just peachy, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. It's a short that we shot a couple years ago, and we've been screening to women and men incarcerated or going through like rehab problems.
What's it about?
Yeah, really touching story about like grief and addiction, and a lot of people go through a lot of things in secret, and just
Yeah, mental health and all of that. Yeah.
and I think especially after COVID, I think COVID really affected a lot of people in ways that, it's not really talked about openly as much. So it kind of explores that as well.
You also were in a lot of things. I mean, amazing Santa games as well.
Yeah. I actually worked on that movie with my friend Orlando, and then he was also in my first
The first Lifetime.
like a year later. So it's so funny.
How cool is that?
Yeah.
For folks who didn't see Santa games, tell us about that one. Looks like a lot of fun.
It's just a heartfelt, good time, funny Christmas story. Like, it's just a good time. Sometimes we need those movies, just to kick back and unwind.
Exactly. What's a typical day like for you? You're always so busy. You're always, um, running around and doing so much. Matter of fact, even Mike says that you were in a Jack Harlow music video. He's one of the biggest artists. Yeah. Mike, welcome to the Jim Masters Show Celebrity Talk Show series. Good to have you with us. You're now part of the JMS family, following along. So he knows that as well. And everybody's saying hello to each other. So, yeah, tell us about that opportunity too. Jack Harlow music video.
Oh my gosh, it was amazing. He's so hardworking. He was out working like all of the PAs. And I was like standing forever in heels, like waiting for the shot. And I just remember we made eye contact, and I was like, what is he doing? He started running, and he went that way and grabbed a chair, and then came over to me and then was like, you should be sitting. And I was like, what? I mean, this is like a huge space too. I mean, he is just so kind and like always thinking, and like, I mean, he was just like outworking everyone. I'm like, how do you do that? And that really inspired me. I was like, to make it there, you can't, focus on like, oh, am I going to be the prettiest? Am I going to be like the most talented? But you can be the most hardworking. And that is something I learned through that process. So I will.
That's the key is, working hard. And when you work hard, people, they notice that they pay attention to that. And they know that when they call upon Brittany McVicker, that you're going to produce, you're going to show up, you're going to get it done. Right.
Yeah.
And and the days can be long, right? When you're on shoots, you talk about getting into commercials and stuff. I remember being in television commercials in the New York area where we were on set for 12 hours. And it's just because they wanted to get every angle they could of us. We were in like a TV and appliance store with refrigerators and TVs and computers and washers and dryers and dishwashers and microwave ovens and everything. And they wanted us to be there so they can get every possible angle of us doing every sort of role in front of every piece of the, equipment that the merchandise they were selling in the store. And it was like a 12-hour shoot. So we knew when we were going on these shoots that particular director wanted to capture as much as they could while they could with all of us there on set. And it could be really long hours, right?
Did you feel like, especially being in front of the camera and you have to be on, it's not like an office where, you can like be tired or not 100%. Did you feel like, oh my gosh, like this is actually kind of draining in those moments because you have to be like
Only if the food at craft services isn't good.
That's how I rate every movie and set. It's not by the script or how well it performs. It's like, okay, they had the best crafty. That wasn't so good.
Right. People talk about it. Exactly. They're like, oh, I like working with those people. They have good food for, during the breaks. I would say, well, sometimes there's also a lot of standing around because they're taking other shots, especially with movies too. There's so much standing around and waiting and waiting and waiting. Well, a couple of times I was an actor and I was playing, different roles. I was a customer, I was a boyfriend, I was a husband, I was a doctor, I was a professor, I was the neighbor, I was a salesperson, in these different roles.
Show.
But then I was a spokesperson. So I was the spokesperson, the person that was on camera, representing this this chain of stores in New York. Hi, and I do love that stuff. I love that host spokesperson stuff where you're on and they're really depending on you to sell the sizzle and bring it all together. That's a lot of fun. Have you had any roles where you got to do that, to be the face of it, to be the spokesperson of things?
I did a campaign for Bud Light Canada. That was really cool. But I've hosted like several events and charity events, and yeah, it's kind of fun. Be like a little host, and you have your little microphone, and you're like, "What's up, everybody?"
You got to work the room, right? You have to work the room, and
I'm a ham. I love it.
She's a ham.
Go.
You have to be a little bit, I guess. Or you also have to think fast on your feet too, because anything can happen. And you can have scenarios where anything, especially if you're live, anything can happen, and you have to be able to jump and make it look smooth or like it was supposed to happen that way. Or one of the worst things people do is, I think, when something goes wrong or something happens when you're live, is to ignore it in a way where it's kind of like, everybody saw it. Everybody knows it. Just have a little fun with it. Acknowledge it. Just say something, that makes everybody say, okay, that went wrong. We know that went wrong. We're going to move on from it, but let's have a little fun with it too. And that's, sometimes you trip on a word, sometimes technical things happen, but I think it's how you handle it and what you do that can make it even a funny moment or a special moment that people remember, because sometimes people really want to see that stuff. They don't want to always see everything so perfect and exact. And that's a lot of our industry, is making everything exact and perfect and working, for everything to be excellent and great. But sometimes it is those moments where, especially when you're live, where things get a little crazy, and it's how you handle it and what you do with it. And I've had I'm sure you have too, many times where I've been on stage or TV or whatever, radio, or even this show, where crazy stuff happens. A light goes out, or somebody, just, I don't know, their screen freezes, or the dog jumps into their lap while they're talking, or a video doesn't play, or something doesn't go. And sometimes those are funny moments, and we don't really, unless it's something really crazy, we won't necessarily edit it out later. We might leave it in there because it adds to the flavor of the free flow of the show,
Yeah, you just gave a master class on this. Everyone watching should be like taking notes. They're like writing this down.
Right. Well, the gym master's class on it, right?
Yeah.
So how long are you in New York doing what you're doing, these projects and everything? It's got to be exciting. I was just in New York on a TV shoot last week.
Wait, were you?
Yeah, up on the it was beautiful. The Upper East Side, and it was really, we were filming in a $7 million apartment, and I was doing a news feature interview of this CEO and all of this, and it was really, really, really nice. And the city was bustling. It was hot that day. That it was a week ago, but it was really, really, really nice. And how long are you there for?
Jim, I'm a little here. I'm a little over there. I'm a little over there, and then I'm back over here. I never know what's going on at this point, which I love it, because for so long it's just I was in LA and I didn't leave. I think I left once in a year, and then now I'm like pew 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 pew. I'm all over the place.
Exactly, you are too. You're bopping around. There she is. She's there. That's a great shot. What is that from?
Oh my gosh, that's from Kill Trip. Jeff
That
Greer's
is Guilt Trip.
behind the
Yeah.
scenes, and he did such a good job.
That is a great shot, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, and we have Samaire Armstrong in the movie too, which, oh my God, I love her. She's like one of the best humans I ever met. She was on like the OC and Mentalist.
Oh, yeah. That's
Oh,
right. All top shows, right? Exactly.
I mean, she's like certified it girl. So to be able to like say that I know her now, oh my God, amazing.
The it girl with the it girl. And of course, the it guy, Eric. Here you are in Dogwood.
Oh
Looks
yeah.
like you're having a good moment there. Again, tell us what it was like working in that.
It's gonna be such an amazing film. I'm so excited for everyone to see it. It's a period piece. It's a western. It's a drama. I mean, like, what more could you want? And Eric's just such an amazing actor. Like the moment you call action, he's just like,
What's your role? Tell us about your role.
yeah. So I play Randy. She's a saloon girl, kind of like Eric's love interest, if you will. It was really interesting doing this film, and that's one of my favorite parts about this industry and being an actor is I had no idea that women back in like the 1800s would become saloon girls or bartenders because it was like the only way that they could really run a business, or it was very like political because they did make so much money. They actually had a lot of say and pull in the town, and I think that's really interesting how that also like plays in this film. So
When did you start shooting that?
we started like endish of last year, and then we just did some pickups and some reshoots. So hopefully we'll have something end of this year.
Cool.
A lot of things in the works that I can't really say right now, but it's
Yeah.
exciting. Ruby is our executive producer, and she's just like on it.
Mm,
Exciting.
that's exciting, huh?
Yeah.
That's really, really exciting. So many things you've been a part of too. Secret Life of a Celebrity Nanny as well.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So good. Dylan Box directed it. Another one that Scotty casted. It's probably one of my favorite projects I've done. Like, that was so
Was
fun.
that on Lifetime Movie Network as well? Lifetime?
Yeah, I just remember my first scene. I come in so hot and heavy, and I haven't met anyone yet. And I was so nervous. I was like, oh my gosh, I have to come in and yell at all these wonderful people that I've like not even shook their hands and said hi to yet. And I just remember we just went right into the scene for like rehearsal thing. And then Dylan's like, wow, that was crazy. And so it made it into the movie, that whole scene, and it was a lot, but it was cool. So nervous.
Mm, that's really something, huh?
Yeah.
That's yeah. What do you love most about doing this work, about being out there and acting and performing? And are you balancing the acting with modeling, or has the acting really taken over most of your work and most of your day, Brittany?
It's taken over a lot, but there's a lot of money in commercials, so I don't
There
know if
is.
I'll
Yeah.
ever give up the commercial.
Tell us about, you mentioned the Bud commercial. Tell us about some of the others you've had an opportunity to be a part
Oh my gosh, yeah, I remember doing like Glamour magazine with Megan Thee Stallion and like meeting her. And it's just so unreal. Like, you meet these people that are like at the top of the field and the craft, and you can just see like the work ethic that they put into it. Like, it's their whole life, and it's kind of what you have to do like to get going. Like, you have to do. And I mean, there's a lot of sacrifices, that you have to make for it. And you see that through them. But, I'm sure how it is.
Yeah.
You gotta
Yeah.
grind it
Mhm.
out.
You do. And sometimes it's all kinds of crazy hours and different days. And sometimes it's holidays and weekends. And oh,
Mhm.
sure.
We did
Yeah.
one thriller last year, and we were doing like multiple 16-hour days just to get it done. It was wild.
How do you sleep? What do you do to rest? How do you rejuvenate? How do you unplug? What are some of the things that you like to do to balance all of the hours and all of the craziness?
I sleep. It's one of those things where it's like, do you work? Do you like, have all your friends over and like, oh, I'm in the city, I want to see you, or do you sleep? And so, it's really hard sometimes to make those choices to be like, can I hang out with all my friends, or should I like be responsible and go get a good night's sleep? So obviously you have to choose to sleep.
Yeah, you do have to choose to sleep, right? Exactly, because those casting calls are early in the morning sometimes, right?
Well, we were doing like 6 p.m. call times.
Oh,
Night.
you were doing the night shift, huh? The evening shift.
Mhm.
You like that better?
Yeah, I do. I
You
love.
do like it.
Which one do you like better, mornings or evening
Hmm.
patients?
Let's see. Considering it's after 8 o'clock right now, uh, you know, I've had same thing where I've had shows where I was on the air at 7 a.m. For 5 hours straight live, middays, nights. I don't like so much if it's a holiday. Like I won't. I just have always had it, and I've been lucky in my career to not have it happen. I don't want to work Christmas Eve. I don't want to work Christmas Day. I
Yeah,
really don't want to work the day after Christmas. I don't want to work on Thanksgiving, sometimes not even the day after,
yeah,
because you're still with family. And
yeah,
I don't want to work on Easter. So there's some, but especially like Christmas, I just try every which way to not work. And I've been lucky. I've never had to. There wasn't anything assigned or asked of me working in television or radio or anything where, hey, Jim, we need you on Christmas, or we need you Thanksgiving, or Jim, can you do this for us on Easter or whatever? Those, because, you know, we're very family oriented and family. And to me, all this work you do during the course of the year the payoff should be that you get a chance to spend time with your loved ones, your friends, and your family. And if you're constantly doing it 24/7, 365, then what are you doing it for? The money's nice or whatever you do, but it's got to be for time with your loved ones and your friends and your family to plug in and connect and catch up and have good memories made. And so
yeah,
I've always made it a policy, and I've always said I haven't said it to people because people haven't asked me to do it, but I've just said it to myself. I really don't want to ever work on Christmas, day where you're work. If you're helping a church or something, totally different. It's volunteer.
oh,
But if you're working and have to be working Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, day after, Thanksgiving or Easter, don't mind working on my birthday or others. 4th of July, maybe not. But, usually the holidays is the thing for me. The holidays are New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. Never, I know a lot of people have to. The world, believe me, the world wouldn't exist if people didn't work on those days, stores and gas stations and supermarkets. God bless everybody that
yeah,
does work on those holidays. I've just worked during the course of the year to try to make sure that I don't work on those days. And it's just
yeah.
worked out that way.
But it's like we're not. Well, I'm not. I feel like doing rocket science, or a lot of my friends are like doctors and nurses and teachers, and I'm like, you guys are the real heroes. So I feel like I can't really ever complain. It's like they're working every holiday all the time because everyone's so short-handed. So big shout out and thank you to the nurses and teachers and doctors,
That's right.
real MVPs.
Yeah, and they got us through the pandemic. A
Yeah.
lot of them, a lot of I know have people that I know. I was on the air too, and I was working. We launched this show during that period, but I was also working full time in television and radio during the pandemic, while then launching and doing this show as well. And but there were times where sometimes there was a lot of protocols in the studios. You couldn't sit next to people. You had to be far from people. Sometimes the studio would be closed. The TV station would be closed to the public, or the radio station, or the production company, doing freelance work, whatever,
Oh,
or a TV shoot scheduled would be shifted, or somebody fell ill or something. So there was a lot to navigate during that time, right?
And I was getting COVID tested sometimes twice a day, every other day. I mean, it was a lot of, which is great. Make sure you're safe and vaccinated, but it's like you have to. was a lot. My nose was so sore all the time.
From all of the those Q-tip things, right?
Yeah,
It's
I
like,
was just like
again,
jabbed in it like
all the way up to your brain. I know.
or like, yeah, it was a lot.
It was a lot, but we fortunately,
We made it
God
through.
bless us all, we made it through, right? We made it through so far. Do you like to write and direct and produce, create some of your own things as well? Is that something you've done, would love to do, Brittany?
Um, maybe I feel like I still have so much to learn. I feel like every job I've done as an actor, and I try, like with Kill Trip, I know this isn't normal, but I actually went to set on my days off because I mean, this is like hands on learning experience. And whenever I'm not, like my scenes aren't up, I try to still watch and learn because I mean, it's like free film school. So maybe one day I have so much to like learn still.
Right, exactly. You're still soaking it up. So one of the things I always have done, did it in school, did it, my first jobs in the industry, and even still do it today. I'll watch what's going on around me. So I'll watch
Yeah.
a director, I'll watch the camera person, I'll watch the makeup artist, I'll be there with the editor, maybe sometimes even helping the editor pick scenes and shots and stuff. I'll always try to have an appreciation and respect for everybody that's involved in whatever this project or production is, because everybody's important and everybody contributes to it and there's great value in it. So, and it's a team. Every piece of it is a piece of the puzzle to make it all work. So I've always, I know about what everybody's doing. Some are more expert at whatever that specific task is, but I think it's good to know and respect, because you never know when somebody is ill or somebody doesn't show up and they
Mhm.
say, "Hey, we're really shorthanded. Can you just man the camera, or can you just, pull this cable or just do something to help us here?" And if you know a little bit about it, you can pitch in and become even more valuable and you learn something new, right?
That is valuable. That is such a good term because I mean, like acting can be really exhausting. Again, I'm not like trying to compare it to like being a doctor or nurse or anything, but in its own right, I mean, when you're doing 12, 16-hour days, and if you're, lead or you have like a larger role, a lot to remember, it can be pretty taxing on you mentally. So it can be a lot, but you want to be as valuable as possible. So if like, know about, directing a little bit. Not saying you have to be like, in one of those departments, but if you can understand it, you're already one step ahead and you're really part of the craft.
Hmm. Exactly right. That's a good way to look at it. So you got so much coming up, so many things you're doing. What are some things you haven't done yet? Roles you'd like to play, projects you'd like to be in, TV shows, films. I mean, if somebody came along with a sitcom, would you like to be in a sitcom? What are
Yeah.
some things that you have on that Brittany bucket list?
Jim, I want to do it all. I'm going to do it all. Last year, I did a comedy, and then I went to do a horror, and then I went to do a thriller, and then I went to do another comedy. So I'm trying to be like a little Johnny Depp. Like I don't want to be in one lane. Like I'm a little here, there, over there. So I'm going to do it all. We never know what's around the corner.
That's a perfect way to again, that's again knowing about and learning about a lot of different things. And I think that's a great way to do it, because also you don't get bored. You know what I mean? You take on different roles, different projects, different things that enhance your skills and your talent, and show people other aspects of who you are. How, when you get prepared for a role, do you prepare? Because sometimes some of the roles can be very, very intense, very emotional, can really drain you. And sometimes you could even get so lost in that character, you can't even separate yourself from the character. Some people have struggles with that. How do you work through all of that?
last year I did a movie, and it was days, and I had to cry and just really exert myself the whole day. And we were like on hour 14, and my character like had a panic attack throughout this whole bit. And in real life, I was like having a panic attack. I was like, oh my God, wait, what is going on? I was like, guys, I need to step away for a minute. I was like, what is this? And I have like center myself. And, with training and stuff, they like teach you how to come down from that. But yeah, there's a lot with this, that your body, if you're putting yourself there, it kind of sometimes doesn't know the difference. So that's where training and technique really comes in so handy, and it's so valuable. So, that's why you need all of that. So when you do those 14-hour days, you can kind of be like, oh, okay, this is where my body is right now. This is how I'm doing right now. You need to speak up and say, I do need a little bit of a break, or, because like crews and your cast family, they're so supportive. Like they're going to rally around you and be like, yes, like what do you need? And it's also your job to be like, how can I support you through this? Because it is a very vulnerable position that you're putting yourself in. So I think that's something really neat. Also, you bond on another level with people in this industry that you typically don't get that other spaces. So it's kind of cool.
What have you learned about yourself through this process? How has Brittany McVicker grown as a person through these experiences that you're talking about?
Oh, so much. I mean, as you briefly touched on earlier, I lost my mom when I was really young, and I wasn't able to cry for so long. It just wasn't there. And I knew with this job, you have to be able to cry like that. And it was really hindering a lot of my work. And I was like, I've got to figure this out, not just for my career, but for me. And so, through self-help books and therapy, which is always so great, now I'm in a really great space, and I really have control over all of that. And it's really helped me as a human being. The counselor had suggested, to go back to acting classes. And it was just really great. So I think as a person, it's helped me more than I could ever even know. And I suggest like everyone take an acting class, even if it's something that you don't want to do. You want to be a lawyer, if you want to, whatever you want to do, I think everyone should take some classes, because like, when else are you going to get to like yell at somebody or cry in front of someone or laugh, So they're great.
It does for a lot of people. It brings them out of their shell. It shows them other sides of themselves that they can tap into and allow to rise. There are a lot of people who are actors and actresses who actually prefer taking on the role of somebody else versus being them.
Oh, like
And right, exactly, right, exactly. And even though I've done acting and things of that nature, I think that's probably why when people will always ask me, "Hey Jim, what's your favorite role?" Because I did have some things where I was able to be involved with Law and Order, an episode of Law and Order, and this series on FX, Lights Out, and other TV shows that I got cast to be in scene or so, which was fantastic. When Central Casting contacts you at 10 o'clock at night and says, we need you in Manhattan at 6:30 a.m. to be on the set of LA Law, and you're playing a court reporter or whatever. That's always cool. But people will say, what is your favorite role? And I said, because I'm a broadcast guy, because I've been on television and radio all these, years, I think my favorite role is being Jim Masters, being me and the host and the interviewer or the broadcaster or presenter, personality, what have you. I think my favorite role is actually me doing me. Does that make sense?
Yeah, of course. It's always so interesting. Like sometimes, I don't know if you do this, but after playing a character for, a couple months, or, you're in it for so much, it's kind of like okay, wow, okay, I'm going back to myself now. You're like trying to gear back into that.
Exactly. What are some things you like to do separate from the acting and modeling world? Do you like to cycle? Do you like to swim in the ocean? Do you like to cook and garden? And what are some things that you curl up and watch the 1970s reruns of your favorite shows? What are some things Brittany likes to do to balance out this busy life you have in
Oh,
film and television?
well, I always say like acting classes are great, but you need like life experience too. So I
Mhm.
love horseback riding. I did a salsa class last night, which was so fun. I love like I recently took up golfing. Going to the range, getting a good little swing down. But like movies and commercials and everything, they always need someone that knows how to horseback ride or golf, and just by experiencing and living life, you're like, oh hey, I can do that. Let me submit to this now.
And has any of that experience in doing those things, on the side like that, have you been able to call upon any of that for any of the roles and performances and things you've had an opportunity to be a part of, Brittany, as well?
Oh, 100%. I mean, to anyone watching, if you do those things, I mean, that puts you one step ahead of everyone else. Like, I can horseback ride. So this fantasy film, or actually the one I'm shooting with Todd Terry, there's a lot of horseback riding in it. So I was like, yeah, I can horseback ride. Like, actually, because sometimes people show up to set and they say they can horseback ride, and then they get there and they don't know what they're doing, and then they have to like recast it on the day. And I'm like,
Right.
oh my God.
You know how you can tell when they haven't ridden a horse is when they stand behind it.
Oh, I know. I'm like, what are you doing? No.
Worst place to be is standing behind a very irritated horse.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because they're putting the horses to work sometimes. So
It was very funny. I was on a TV shoot. I love how we're swapping our stories here.
oh,
That's why
I
I call
love
these conversations, not interviews.
it. Yeah.
Interviews would be me writing pre-prepared questions or reading a teleprompter, which, I've done a lot of that work in news and everything else. But these are conversations between the two of us with our viewers participating. It was about 2 years ago. I was sent to the high desert of Nevada, and or we say Nevada east. I think east of the Mississippi we say Nevada, and then there they say Nevada. So
Yeah.
whichever you want to say, it's a beautiful state and we love it. So it was in the high desert up in towards the Yerington area, and I was interviewing this 33-year veteran of the police force of Los Angeles, this female sergeant, and we were filming, doing a piece on celebrating her incredible contributions to society and law enforcement and keeping everybody safe, and really a diligent, incredible woman. But her go-to is her home in the high desert of Nevada and this beautiful ranch and farm that she lives on with her horses and her dogs. So we celebrated her extraordinary career, as an LA police officer, but also the balance of living on this ranch in the high desert of Nevada. And she wrote a book too, and also we were spotlighting that. And this was for a television show. And she had this horse, Mocha Latte, this beautiful horse, several horses, but Mocha Latte. And Mocha just took to me right away. For some reason, there's just this, with animals, sometimes you can really, I'm sure you've worked with a lot of animals too. And, there's just a connection sometimes that happens. They know that you are not here to rattle things or to attack the owner or make things threatening or whatever. You're here to, have a good time and
Yeah.
comfort. So Mocha knew that. No, Mocha's like, Jim's okay. Jim passes the test. So what was really interesting is they wanted to get a shot. The team in New York said, make sure when you're in Nevada, we want a shot not only of you on the horse, but we want a shot of her on her horse, which her favorite one was Mocha Latte. Beautiful horse, friendly. Well, I don't know what happened because the horse allowed me to go on him, no problem, followed me around, didn't want to let me go. This is her horse. She has him trained. They love each other, the whole bit. But the minute she went on the horse, he wanted to throw her. He wanted to like, and she was like embarrassed because she was like, are we getting this on film? Are you guys videos? We're like, no, we'll edit that out. Of course, we wouldn't show that. But for some reason, I don't know what it was. He wasn't interested in her that day and was hovering around me. And I don't, I was saying, oh, Mocha, I was comforting Mocha through the whole thing. But I think they could sense that. She couldn't believe it. We couldn't believe it because, they love each other. But he wanted no part of her that day when we were filming, which was really something really cool to see. It was amazing.
No, I love it. That's so amazing. That happens sometimes though. You get those like little connections with the animals and you're like, oh, sorry, this is my horse now.
Yeah, it's kind of like something like that happened. I don't know, the horse all of a sudden, and the dog, she had a big, like, it was like a collie or golden retriever, huge. And it was following me around and, even jumping on my lap when we were trying to film and just didn't want me to go. And I felt really bad that I had to leave because when we were getting in the car to drive back to, I was on a TV shoot in Napa Valley, California. And then we drove to Reno from Sacramento and then drove from Reno to Yerington, Nevada, the high desert. And when we were getting ready to pack the car up with the crew to leave to go back to Reno so we can then catch a flight to Denver to then fly back east to the East Coast, the animals, the dogs, the horses, came almost towards the end of the driveway, almost like it was Dr. Doolittle or something, or Noah's Ark, and if they could wave goodbye, they would have waved goodbye. It was really something cool. I've never experienced something so beautiful with the animals all lined up in that way. When we were there, have you ever had things like that happen, working with children or animals, things like that?
Well, they say to never work with animals or children, right? Because they always steal the scene because they're just so natural and they just go with whatever instincts that they have. And so they always steal the scene. So that's what I've always heard. But I love working with kids and animals. I am allergic to dogs. And I remember I did a commercial a couple years ago. And I was the one that got stuck with the dog. It was so cute. I loved it, but you can kind of see throughout the commercial my nose getting randomly red. Like the makeup department was great, but I just was like, oh my gosh. And you can like kind of see my nose just get like a little more red throughout the commercial.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the allergies were kicking in, right?
Yeah, big time.
Wow. What are some of the craziest things other than that have happened to you on set over the years?
Oh my gosh, what hasn't happened? That's a good question. I think it's just like you get really delirious at that like 12-hour mark. And when you're working that closely with like people all day, you start getting slap happy, especially if it's like, 2-3 weeks into a shoot and you all get so close and you start getting like giggly. I think that's just always like the best, craziest parts because you're trying to be so professional, but then you became best friends with everyone and it's like high school. You're like in the corner, like, hee. So funny.
Right. That's sometimes, that's the hardest thing sometimes too, is especially when you're doing a serious scene and something happens where somebody makes you laugh or somebody makes a sound I actually had that happen on television once. I was co-hosting with somebody and it was a serious project, serious TV show. And I'm co-hosting and how it was working was I would come on camera and then the other co-host would walk off and then I'd be focused. And then when I was wrapped up with what I was saying, they would say toss, which means I, then walk off. the shot, and then the other co-host comes in and continues talking about. We were talking about a show that was airing, and a TV series. So we were on live, and I could have sworn I heard this co-host that I was on with, who happened to be one of the managers higher up in the television station. As they walked off, they couldn't get off the set quick enough before I heard.
Oh,
And
no.
I was like, and I heard it, and I heard it, and I heard it over and over in my head. I'm like, and I could see off the corner of my eye him getting off the stage and couldn't get off or off set quick enough. And it was one of those things where you just kept replaying it in your head as you're trying to look into the camera. And then, of course, my buddies in the production department, Master Control, they knew that they were trying to get me to break up on camera and start, laughing. So the red light on top of the cameras, the studio cameras, as you know, that red light that lets you know you're on the air is on. So they start blinking it to try to throw me off, to try to get me to laugh, because they knew, because they had headphones on, they heard the sound too. So here's the vice president of one of the divisions of the TV station co-hosting with me, and just about gets off camera enough to be able to do that. But I kept hearing it in my head. I can't believe what I just heard. And the other thing too is, as he was walking off camera, not only did the sound happen, but he lifted up as he did it. His feet lifted up. So I saw that out of the corner of my eye, and I'm like, he's in a suit and a tie and very professional. And just, it was it was a number of years ago. But
so that's like one of those moments that we were talking about earlier, where you kind of have to keep it going.
You just keep it going. And they were doing the guys, in Master Control, the directors and everything, they were having fun with it. I could hear them laughing in the control room. They were laughing so hard because they knew what happened. And we were live on television, and it was just all I had to do. I smiled too, but it's all I had to do to keep going forward. Have you had moments like that?
A pro. Sort of. I remember I was filming. There's this house in LA. It's like an American Horror Story house is what they call it. Those shot there. And I did a music video there once. And I was like trying to keep it going, but I was like, I think I'm going to slip and fall. And it was like kind of like a window like this. And I went back and I did slip, and it shattered. And I was like, oh my God. And I didn't fall out. I like caught myself. Everyone like froze. We're like, okay, wait, we have to wrap it up. And I looked down, and there was like the producers looking up, like, what just happened? Fast forward a year later, in the middle of a scene, trying to keep everything going. I'm like away from a wall, same house. I'm back there, a framed jersey. It was actually on the set of Break. Fell like right behind me and broke. And I was like, okay, you know what? Never coming back to this house. It hates me, because it's like rumored that it's haunted. Which I don't know if I really believe in, but now I do. So, we can't really keep it going when things like that happen, Jim. So we had to like take a beat and clean up the glass. It was crazy.
Right.
What happened?
Call a Safe Light Repair. No, that's a windshield.
Yeah,
right. That's something. Right. Exactly. It's just like, there was a time when I was in the studio, and it was actually during a PBS pledge drive, and they had these round tables with tablecloths, and they had the phone volunteers around the tables. They were using these round tables, and they had all the phones, and they were taking the pledges for this concert, that special that was airing. And I was the co-host, and I'm on. So I was standing in front of the table, so you could see the shot of me in the studio live, and then you could see the volunteers taking the calls from everybody, calling in support and things of that nature behind us. And I heard some sort of a rattle, and what they did was maybe it wasn't a great idea, but they had these round tables and these chairs that went around the tables elevated. And I think they had them elevated where people had to, the volunteers had to step up a step to then get into their chair to sit at the table to take the calls and the pledges. And maybe that wasn't such a great idea. And I think they did it because they wanted to make sure that they were in the shot behind me. If the tables were lower, you would just see the tops of their heads, but they wanted to have it where they could be seen. A lot of times, I don't know if you've heard this expression, but sometimes if somebody is tall and somebody is shorter, they'll put the person on an apple box crate is what they always call it, an apple box crate. So a lot of times you see
on a few of those, Jim.
Those boxes, right? And so people don't realize the person's actually standing on a couple of boxes to get to the camera height they need to be. So I'm talking and we're live on camera and doing our thing. And I hear this thud and I take a quick glance because there was a little bit of commotion behind me. And somebody, went up that little step to get to their chair, to get to the table, to answer the phones. And they had the tablecloths wrapped around these tables. And when I took the quick, casual glance, just like a casual glance, because the camera's still on you, so you have to keep looking this way, but casual glance. It was another one of those scenarios where you had to really, because, he was fine. Everything was great. He was fine. They went over, how are you? Oh, I'm good. But what I saw was, if you remember the Wizard of Oz and you remember when the house collapsed on the Wicked Witch and all you saw was the feet sticking out of the bottom of that's what I saw. I saw the feet sticking out of the tablecloth. And it was like I was seeing the Wizard of Oz movie. And it was unbelievable. And to try to keep it going without
the
distraction of it all. Right. I've had that too. I've had lights burst, in TV studios, or people fall out of chairs, people fall ill. We've got trapped in radio stations during blizzards and we couldn't go home. And, but those are the moments when it really tests you. Those are the moments when you really have to dig in deep and pull it all up and out and keep the train on the track. Right. And a lot of people will say, oh, I can't do that. How do you do? I love that. I love when that happens because that challenges me to make things work for everybody else. And I'm sure you've had many of those times too, right? Where you're on and you got to do it, but there's chaos happening all around you.
Oh my gosh, all the time. And especially working with people, maybe it's their first project or they got their lucky break and they're like, oh my God, I want a movie. And they're so excited. And you're like, whoa, the crew just wants to go home. It is hour 14 and they're all gung-ho ready to go. And you're like, ooh, you're like, let's rate it back in a bit. Because it is a very serious profession. You know what I mean? I think sometimes people think it's just all glitz and glamour. And it's wow, that looks so fun. But, you have to show up and know your lines, come in with an idea and be respectful and, professional. And I think some people forget, this is a very serious job.
It is right. Exactly. I know. And when you're first starting out, a lot of times you're so excited about being in it. And then the crew does want to go home. They're tired. They've been there for hours, setting everything up, doing everything. And you still want to go. You're like, oh, we're done. Keep the lights on. I want to keep going. Yeah. I want to do more because you're pumped up. You're excited. But they have been building it all before you get there. And they're tearing it down afterwards. And I know what you mean sometimes, because a lot of times when I'm working with crews, I'll always talk with them and I'll always have a conversation and I'll always chat with them and, friends with the camera people and everybody else. Hey, Bob and hey, Mary and how are you? And hey, Jim. I always like that atmosphere. I don't just come in like, hey, I'm Jim. And, let's get the party started. I look at it like it's a family, like it's a team. And I think everybody enjoys it more. And I think there's more respect for you and you for them when you appreciate everybody and value everything that they're doing. And then they want to work with you more. They want to use you more because you're there to make it happen. And I think you know all that. I think you've got that down. That's why you're so busy with all these projects.
Yeah. Do you feel like it varies set from set though? Because sometimes I feel like the structuring, or I don't know, the only word I can think of is like vibe is different, where it's like sometimes it is like super, super focused and it is a bit more like hustle. And then other times you might have maybe it's like more luxury of time. And so you get like more downtime with everyone.
That's a good way
Project to
to, yeah,
project.
right. That's a great observation. That's a good way to look at it. Sometimes there are, with bigger projects, big union projects, it can be very much, we got this, time is money, everything has to be exact. We got to keep it moving. Let's go. Not a lot of time for chit chat or for, how's the kid? How's the dog? What are you working on? You got to get it all done. And, I remember the very first time I ever worked on a project, which was through a union. It was a television station, a national television network. And it's interesting because they even had somebody who brought the water to set for us to drink. I mean, brought the glass, poured the water. We couldn't touch the glass, nothing. And I was so not used to that in the beginning. I was like, oh, don't worry about it. I'll go get a glass of water. They're like, no, no, no.
That's their
This
job.
is what I do. I get you the glass. I'm like, no, I don't have to do that. I don't need a limo idling. Or the very first time I was working again on another network project, they said, okay, now one of the things we do with the talent is we send a car to your house to
Mhm.
pick you up and we bring you, into the city. Um, I'm like, really? I can hop on the train and I can, don't worry. Here I'm always trying to make it easy for everybody else. They're like, no, 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 that's what we do. It's in the budget. That's what we do. And so I was telling a friend of mine who was a casting, she passed away, unfortunately, but she was a wonderful person. And she cast me in a lot of TV commercials, but also she followed me on television and she was always so supportive. And she used to be in the casting department with the ABC network. And so I told her the story. I said, the TV network is, they want to pick me up at the house, which they do for all the other people, the talent people. And they want to send a town car or this limousine to pull up in front of your house and you go in it. I'm like, I told them that I could hop on the train. I'll get there. Don't worry about that. You worry about the production, what you have to. And she said, no, 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 no. She says, if they want to send that car, that's what they do. That's part of their process. They're not just doing it for you. They're doing it for everybody else. It's in their structure. It's what they do. And they probably want to do it because they want to make sure you get there on time, safely, no problems, and that you are not running around trying to catch trains or driving in heavy traffic or whatever, that you're resting, you're looking at the scripts, the notes in the back, and you come in fresh and rested. She said, so look, when they pull up with that car, get in it. Just don't sit in the front seat with the driver.
Mhm.
That was great advice.
Yeah.
I'm not going to, you might think, oh, hey, I'm going to sit in the front seat and chat with the driver. That's not what they want. So yeah, I had learned, that's early on. I had learned if they want to do that, it's it's part of their structure. It's what they do. It's budgeted in. It's all part of it, and they're doing it because they want to make sure that you are rested and you're ready to go and you get there safely. Not that you're extra special or whatever, which is what I didn't want, that attention, or I didn't feel I had to do that. I was
Yeah.
there to help them, but they're like, no, no, no. This is a two-way street. We all help each other, and that was cool.
But you have to be careful with that, because they're creating so many jobs. And by you saying that, like, you might think like, oh, I'm a diva if I ask for this or that or whatever. But like, that's literally what they're getting paid for. And you don't want to like diminish someone else's. So that's something I had to learn as well. Like, it's really interesting trying to like navigate all these like unspokens because a lot of classes they don't teach anything like this that I've seen or I've been in. So it's really interesting
There are
navigating.
specifics that like that where they're right. They don't necessarily teach that. And right, everybody has the role, everybody has the purpose. And if they want to send you the car, get in it and enjoy the ride.
Well, like
And
doing
now I do. I
yeah,
love it. Now I'm
no,
like, where's the
another
car?
thing, like one day I'd love to have a book with all of these like random, like just write all these
These little tidbits,
yeah,
right?
like whenever
Life
you do
tidbits.
yeah, like a thriller or as soon as I read a script, I like go through it and I'm like, okay, how much action is involved in this?
Hmm.
You know, you got to see. And like for Kill Trip, as soon as I got the script, I was hitting the gym because I was like, my muscles need to like warm up and be able to like take it because it's just when you're doing
That's right.
stunts involved, you know, you don't want to be so tired the next day where you can't perform. And
Right.
everyone's looking at you like, why didn't you train a little bit?
Right.
You know, all these things.
It's all these little things that you learn that just pop up and you learn along the way. Exactly. So,
Mhm.
so you're enjoying the ride. You're having a good time. I mean, she's on Lifetime. She's here. She's there. She's in movies and TV and music videos and modeling. She's a philanthropist. You got so many things going on, and you're loving it all, aren't you, Brittany?
I'm loving it. I'm having such a good time. I knew I would always like it, and it's something like I would like to do, but kind of like as a hobby. And then it kind of found me as like a job. And I'm like, wow, like I really love it. So even like on my off days, I'm like hopping over, getting into like an acting class or like, you know, teaching sometimes because when you love something and you can make it a job, you know, I try to explain it to people like it's not just a job, like you're loving life and it adds so much value and you have so much passion. And I actually oh gosh, I wish I remember his name, but there was an acting coach and he said that a lot of like alcoholism and depression is caused from a lack of passion. And I was just like beside myself when I heard that because I was like, you know what? That is so true. And so I just always like wanted to have that passion and like, what I could do and how to like live life to the fullest. And I feel like life is so short. I just want to get like every ounce of life I can get out of it because we only get one shot, you guys. So you gotta go for it, you know.
So true, my friend. Life is short and it's special and it's precious and it's fleeting. And we talk about that a lot. It is something that, if you have an idea or there's something you want to do your best to do it. And hopefully it's something you love and you can pay it forward and just, inspire and connect with everybody and share your talents. And we'll all be the better for it, which you have been doing, Miss Brittany McVicker.
Oh,
So I imagine the family back home in the Midwest is quite proud, huh?
oh, they are. They're just like the best cheerleaders, and I wouldn't have been able to do any of this without my family and my friends, which are also like my chosen family or chosen for me. They didn't get a choice in the matter. But I think it's so important to have like a good support system around. I've heard a lot of people that didn't have like family supporting them and it's really sad. So I just think, you know, you can really find your community too in this industry. And so you just need to find someone to believe in you and like just grab their arm and take them with you because it's a long ride, but you're going to want that system around you. And I'm so grateful that I have such a supportive team around me. Like I just have like the greatest friends in the world. I mean, this all sounds like bubblegum, rainbows, and sunshine. It's not every day, but it pretty much is.
If you have the love and support and the team and the people that believe in you around you, then right, it can be. And it's so important. We all need that no matter what we do in life, to have loving family and friends and colleagues and those who believe in what you're doing and they're willing to help and support and share and it's essential because it does. I always say it takes a village. You can't
Mhm.
do it all alone. And in order for people to grow and for people to, enjoy the things they want to enjoy in life, sometimes they have to have people around who can either open the doors for you or you open it for them. And you just support each other when you cheer each other on when things are good. And when something is not so good, you help lift each other up. And that's
Yeah.
important. It's not just don't just hang around when everything is good and you're the one that can, treat everybody to ice cream. Always be there too when times are tough for the people that you care about the most. And
Which, on that note, real quick, it's really interesting in this industry how many people actually want to hang in there on the lows and
right.
not so much the highs. So, for anyone listening, um, be someone's cheerleader because you would be surprised how many people, once you get like a little bit of success or things start panning out for you, how many people can kind of not be so supportive in that. So just when you encourage someone else or you cheer someone else on, it comes back to us. And when you put out that energy saying, I am so proud of you for doing this, I'm so excited for you, that comes back to you. And when someone else levels up, look at that and be like, you know what? If they can do it, I can do it too. Like, take that as inspiration. And I think that's really a mindset that's helped me through this so much. And it's something I would just really like to encourage other people to really lift others up. Because I mean, like, life's not that serious. Like, just support one another. And it sounds cheesy, but it's so true because there's space and room for everyone. It might not seem like it. You might see like, oh my gosh, I can't knock this door down. But there really is. There's a moment for everyone to shine. There's space for everyone. So just when you see somebody and someone's popping off or doing something exciting, encourage them, cheer them on, because it's going to come back to you.
Exactly right. Beautifully said, my friend. You got the drill, you know the ticket, you got the score. Absolutely. That's the best way to look at it all. And that's why you continue to be a rising star with a powerful story to share and very motivational and inspiring as well. And also a great guest on the Gym Masters show as you make your Gym Masters show debut. And we are definitely going to have you back. I always say we keep the porch light on for all of our guests, and you're now part of the Gym Masters Show family, which we love. And if folks want to follow and learn more about Brittany, how do they do that? Socials, websites, IMDb?
Only social media I have is Instagram. It's at it's Britt McVick. And then I have a website, BrittanyMcVicker.com. I try to update it regularly, and so you can keep up what's coming out next, where I'll be speaking on, anything about the foundation, Vasculitis Foundation, other charities I'm a part of. So feel free to check that out.
Wonderful. I hope you had a good time here on the Gym Masters Show. I loved having you here. And I'm so, again, honored for anybody who missed it. You mentioned in the beginning that when you did that fabulous intro,
Yeah.
that you're a big fan of our show and what we're doing here and this
Mhm.
guests we've had on and just the way the show is done. And I really, really, really appreciate that. And I hope you had a good time with me as much as I have with you, Brittany.
Yes, thank you so much for having me on. Oh my gosh, amazing. I love your show. This is just means so much to me. Thank you so much, Jim.
You're very welcome as Brittany comes to us live from New York. It's Brittany
Woo!
McVicker. Right, exactly. A great story. Thanks for being so open and real and authentic about your own life, your own journey, your own powerful story. Going from the Midwest to LA, you're in New York right now. You're taking the bulls by the horn. You're enjoying it. You're inspiring. You know what it's all about. You know that you got to take time to inspire and to enjoy it all and not always take it all so seriously. And really a terrific conversation. Spread the word about our show. This will be archived now. So anybody that missed it coming live, which it is right now, will be able to see it archived on the YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV. And if everybody's enjoying this, drop a comment below. We love to hear from our viewers, right? Everybody, even your fans, our viewers, drop a comment below. Give this episode a like, subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow wonderful Brittany McVicker too on socials and her website. And really a blast to have you here. And I hope you'll come by JMS and see us again soon, my friend.
Yes, thank you so much. Oh my gosh, what an honor. I'm like fangirling just being a part of this because I watch like so many interviews. This is great.
Thank you for that. I appreciate that. Well, you're a part of the family. We're going to keep that light on for you. You're welcome back anytime. Spread the word about the show. If you know other folks, who would like to pop on the show, it takes a village, and you're a delight, my friend. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep taking a bite out of that New York apple right now, and make some more magic, which we'll see on the screens soon, film, TV, and all. And we loved having you here. You be well, and thanks for joining us on the Jim Masters Show, Brittany. It was awesome.
Bye. Thank you. Mwah.
Wow, exactly. We'll keep the light on for you. You take care, safe travels, and we'll see you soon, my friend. Okay?
Thank you, Jim.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome. I hope you get to sleep tonight. Are you all charged up now and you can't sleep?
Yeah, I'm ready to go. I'm like, all right, guys,
Let's go. Yeah, let's paint the town red, right? Exactly. Well, that's the kind of energy we have around here, and you added to it on this episode. Brittany McVicker, you're a star, and thanks for being with us here on the show, and we'll talk soon, my friend, okay?
Bye.
All right, take care. A delight and a hoot and a holler and a great person, isn't she? Wow. See, you got a chance to learn about somebody maybe you've seen on Lifetime in the movies and all these other shows, and maybe some of the modeling. You've seen her in People magazine and other things, Glamour, just really cool. Maybe on some of the commercials. She's been in so many different productions, tons of shows and specials, and just she loves it, and she's enjoying the ride. And you'll see her in so many other things that are coming up as well, and working with some other major celebrities and major talent in Hollywood and New York and really everywhere. And this, of course, she's working with Eric Roberts, the veteran actor who was just a guest on our show recently. We had a great conversation with him. And this is from Dogwood, the Western, which they're very excited about. Look for that coming up as well. And Kill Trips you were talking about as well. And so many other cool things. So, you'll see her on everything, your TV screens and film and so much more. Brittany McVicker making her debut special guest performance. It was a performance, right? But it was her being the real deal. Right here on the Jim Masters Show. Gang, if you enjoyed this episode, we certainly enjoy bringing these episodes to you. Let us know. We would love to hear back from you. We encourage and welcome that. Give this episode a thumbs up, like right there on the YouTube channel. There's a thumbs up button. Share this episode. There's a link. Share it from our YouTube channel right to your social media. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV, for more great episodes. Take a look at hundreds and hundreds of past episodes. Like Brittany's a big fan. She watches all of our previous episodes as well. We love that. And drop a comment below. Let us know why you're enjoying what we're doing here at the Jim Masters Show. We thank our very special guest, Brittany McVicker, joining us here for an exclusive conversation for the first time, and definitely not the last, here on the Jim Masters Show. You know, when I decided what to name this show, I said, why don't we just make it easy or just call it the Jim Masters Show? And then I added Entertainment, Lifestyle, Celebrity Talk Show Series, and that's a mouthful. All you have to do is say the Jim Masters Show, and everybody knows what you're talking about. I could say the rest, the Entertainment, Lifestyle, Celebrity Talk Show Series. You don't have to do that heavy lifting. I could do that for you. Great stories, great, getting a chance to, we talked shop, you know what I mean? Shared some of my stories of being in TV and radio and film and all, and some of the things I've experienced. She shared some of the relatable stories as well. And that's what we like to do here on the show. Again, this isn't necessarily just a typical interview show where, everything is pre-written, and you can tell when somebody's reading a teleprompter, their eyes are going back like that, and they can't ad lib. They're just, it's all so prepared that sometimes it can seem stiff a little bit. We like to have a free-flowing conversation here. Absolutely. And you're a part of it. Come by and see us again. We'll keep the porch light on for you as well. Hey, Mitch, new viewer here. Awesome conversation. Enjoyed the show, Brittany and Jim, with the smile right back at you, my friend. And welcome to the Jim Masters Show family. Check out some of the past episodes and come see us again. We would love that. Now, before we go, we always say something, which is when I remember, don't forget to love one another, take care of one another, and don't forget to do the very same for yourself. It's important. Breathe, take time for yourself. Life is crazy out there, upside down, a lot of nutty things going on. Come see us again. It's a little bit of a respite. We have good times here, amazing guests, conversations. We bring you in, and we hope you love it. So spread the word about our show, whether this is your first time with us here at JMS or you've been here since day one. We thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. You mean the world to us. And take time for yourself. Come see us again. Be well, everybody. And we love having you here. I'm Jim Masters. We'll see you on the next episode of The Jim Masters Show. Cheers.